What if I told you that every single manifestation technique you've ever tried has been working against you? What if vision boards, affirmations, and visualization aren't failing because you're doing them wrong, but because they're all based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how reality actually works? Here's the controversial truth that's going to shatter everything you think you know about creating change. Reality only shifts when you become the person who no longer questions their power. And every moment you spend seeking, hoping, and trying to convince the universe to give you what you want is actually reinforcing the very identity that keeps you powerless. Most people approach manifestation like beggars approaching a king, desperately hoping for crumbs while unconsciously broadcasting the energy of someone who doesn't believe they deserve the whole feast. They're so busy trying to prove they have power that they never actually embody it, so focused on becoming worthy that they never recognize they already are. But what if you discovered that the universe doesn't respond to your desires, your techniques, or your efforts? It only responds to your identity. And until you shift your identity to someone who naturally receives what they want, you'll keep experiencing the same patterns no matter how hard you try. If you're tired of feeling like manifestation works for everyone except you, if you're ready to stop playing small and start claiming the reality that's actually yours by birthright, if you're prepared to discover why some people seem to effortlessly attract miracles while others struggle for years with the same limitations, then this message is going to change everything for you. Because today, you're going to learn how to embody your power so completely that questioning it becomes impossible, and why this one shift is the key to everything you've ever wanted. There's this soul-crushing frustration that happens when you've been working your tail off, following every manifestation technique in the book, yet your reality stubbornly refuses to shift. You're doing all the right things, journaling, visualizing, affirming, but it's like you're stuck behind an invisible glass wall, watching other people create magic while you're left wondering what the hell you're missing. The hidden culprit isn't your technique or your effort. It's that you're still operating from an identity that doesn't believe it deserves what you're trying to create. Your conscious mind wants abundance, but your subconscious identity is still vibrating at the frequency of someone who struggles, and that deeper frequency always wins. Most people never realize they're trying to embody your power while simultaneously clinging to an identity that was built around powerlessness. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being consistently, moment by moment, thought by thought. You can spend hours visualizing your dream life, but if you walk through your day feeling unworthy, anxious, or like you have to prove yourself, you're broadcasting a completely different signal than what you're consciously trying to manifest. It's like trying to tune into your favorite radio station while your receiver is locked onto static. No matter how much you want to hear that beautiful music, all you're going to get is noise. Your reality is simply mirroring back the identity frequency you're most consistently transmitting, which explains why some people seem to effortlessly attract what they want, while others struggle for years with the same patterns. The brutal truth is that reality responds to you not based on your desires, but based on your identity's deepest convictions about what's possible and available. This hidden block operates so sneakily because it feels like just who you are, rather than a learned pattern that can be changed. You might catch yourself saying things like, "I'm just not lucky in love," or "money doesn't come easily to me," thinking these are simple observations about your life, when they're actually identity declarations that program your subconscious to create more evidence for these beliefs. The people who seem to manifest effortlessly aren't necessarily more spiritual or more deserving. They've simply learned to shift your identity at the core level so that receiving what they want feels natural rather than impossible. But recognizing this identity trap is just the beginning. There's an even deeper layer to understand about how doubt literally cancels out your creative power before it can take root. Here's where things get really wild. Doubt isn't just a minor inconvenience in your manifestation journey. It's like electromagnetic interference that literally cancels out the frequency of creation before your desires can gain any momentum. Think of your creative power like a radio signal broadcasting your intentions to the universe, and doubt is like someone standing next to that radio with a jamming device, scrambling the transmission until it becomes unintelligible noise. The moment you question whether you really have the power to create what you want, you're not just being realistic, You're actively dismantling the energetic foundation that manifestation requires. This is why some people can have one moment of absolute certainty and manifest something incredible, while others can work for months with techniques but see minimal results because their doubt keeps short-circuiting their efforts. The power paradox reveals itself when you realize that the very act of needing proof that you have power is evidence that you don't fully believe in it yet. It's like trying to use a key while simultaneously questioning whether it will open the lock. That hesitation creates a tremor in your hand that prevents the key from turning smoothly. When someone truly understands their ability to embody your power, they don't need external validation to confirm what they already know to be true about themselves. Doubt creates what quantum physicists call observer interference, where the act of questioning the outcome actually influences the experiment itself. Your consciousness isn't separate from what you're trying to create. It is the creative force, which means that doubt doesn't just slow down manifestation, it literally rewrites the quantum instructions you're sending to reality. The most successful manifestors have learned to treat doubt like unwelcome background music. They acknowledge it might be playing, but they don't let it override the symphony they're consciously composing. They've discovered that certainty isn't the absence of doubt. It's the commitment to shift your identity toward your desired reality, regardless of what doubt whispers in your ear. This creates what I call faith momentum, where each choice to trust your power over your doubt builds energetic mass that becomes harder and harder for uncertainty to disrupt. But this level of unshakable power requires something most people have never been taught: the development of an inner authority that doesn't need anyone's permission to be magnificent. Your inner authority is like having an internal CEO who never doubts the company's ability to succeed, never seeks approval from competitors, and makes decisions from absolute certainty about the organization's worth and potential. Most people's inner authority got wounded somewhere along the way, maybe through childhood experiences, past failures, or society's constant messaging that you need to prove yourself before you can claim your power. But here's what changes everything. Your inner authority isn't something you have to earn or develop from scratch. It's something you have to remember and reclaim from beneath the layers of conditioning that convinced you to give your power away. When someone operates from unshakable inner authority, they don't ask the universe for permission to receive abundance. They claim it as their birthright and embody your power so completely that reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around their certainty. Think about someone you know who just naturally commands respect and attracts opportunities. They're not necessarily more talented or more deserving, but they carry themselves with an inner knowing that they belong in any room they enter. This isn't arrogance, it's the expression of inner authority that has never been convinced to doubt itself. They make decisions quickly because they trust their judgment. They speak their truth without apologizing, and they pursue their goals with the confidence of someone who knows the universe is conspiring to support them. This unshakable identity becomes a catalyst for quantum shift because it broadcasts such a clear, consistent signal that reality responds to you by delivering experiences that match your unwavering self-concept. There's no mixed messaging, no internal contradiction, no energetic static, just pure, focused creative power flowing through someone who has remembered their true nature. The beautiful thing about inner authority is that it grows stronger every time you choose to trust yourself over external opinions, every time you honor your intuition over conventional wisdom, and every time you act from your truth rather than from fear of judgment. You can start building this authority today by making one small decision from your power, rather than your insecurity. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, investing in something you believe in, or simply walking through the world like you already have everything you need inside yourself. Each moment you choose to shift your identity towards someone who trusts their own guidance is a moment you're building the energetic foundation for massive transformation. But even with strong inner authority, there's still one persistent voice that tries to keep you small, and learning to release that voice is crucial for your complete liberation. The inner critic is like having a gossipy neighbor living in your head who's constantly commenting on everything you do, questioning every decision you make and reminding you of all the times things didn't work out perfectly. This voice isn't trying to be malicious. It genuinely believes it's protecting you from disappointment, rejection, and failure. But what it's actually doing is keeping you trapped in a version of yourself that needs permission from the world to exist fully. The inner critic operates from the assumption that you're not enough as you are, that you need to prove yourself before you can claim your desires, and that playing small is safer than risking the vulnerability of stepping into your full power. But here's the thing that will blow your mind. This voice isn't actually you. It's a collection of inherited fears and learned responses that you can choose to upgrade or release entirely. Most people mistake the inner critic for their intuition or their realistic voice, but intuition feels expansive and empowering, while criticism feels contractive and disempowering. Real intuition might say, "This path feels aligned with your highest good," while the inner critic says, "Who do you think you are to want something that big?" Learning to distinguish between these voices is crucial because one helps you embody your power while the other convinces you to hide it. The critic seeks permission from everyone, except the person whose opinion actually matters, yours. It wants approval from your parents, your peers, your society, your past experiences, basically everyone and everything except your own inner authority, which is the only voice that truly knows what's right for your unique path. Releasing the inner critic doesn't mean becoming reckless or losing your discernment. It means upgrading from fear-based decision-making to love-based decision-making, from permission-seeking to self-authorization, from playing small to expressing your authentic magnitude. You can start this process by simply noticing when the critic pipes up and asking yourself, is this voice trying to protect me or control me? Protection feels loving and supportive. Control feels anxious and limiting. Every time you choose to listen to your inner authority over your inner critic, you're literally rewiring your brain to default to empowerment rather than fear. But recognizing the critic is just the first step. The real transformation happens when you learn to shift your identity into someone who naturally operates from power rather than someone who has to remember to access it. Stepping into your power isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice of embodying the version of yourself who already knows their worth, who doesn't need external validation to feel valuable, and who makes decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been underneath the layers of conditioning that taught you to dim your light. The version of you that never needs proof doesn't wait for circumstances to improve before feeling confident. They radiate confidence and watch their circumstances improve in response. They don't hope for respect. They command it through their presence. They don't chase opportunities. They become so aligned with their power that opportunities chase them. One of the most transformative daily practices is what I call power anchoring. Specific moments throughout your day when you consciously choose to embody your power regardless of what's happening around you. This might look like standing up straight and breathing deeply before entering a challenging conversation, speaking your truth even when your voice shakes, or making a decision quickly because you trust your judgment rather than second-guessing yourself into paralysis. You could practice walking into rooms like you already belong there, expressing your opinions without apologizing for having them, or investing in yourself and your dreams like someone who knows they're worth the investment. Each of these micro moments of embodiment sends a clear signal to your subconscious that you're serious about this identity shift, and your subconscious responds by making this empowered state more and more natural. The person who never needs proof operates from what I call assumed worthiness. They don't wonder if they deserve good things. They wonder which good things they want to experience first. This isn't entitlement. It's the natural state of someone who has never been convinced that they're separate from the creative power of the universe. They make requests without apology, pursue goals without guarantee, and love themselves without condition because they understand that their worth was never up for debate in the first place. Building this level of unshakable self-concept requires daily choices to shift your identity away from someone who needs to earn their place in the world towards someone who knows they already belong here. But embodying power is only half the equation. The other half is learning to maintain that frequency even when life gets challenging. Energetic mastery is like having an internal thermostat that maintains your desired frequency no matter what kind of weather is happening around you. Storms might rage, temperatures might fluctuate, but your inner climate remains stable and conducive to creation. Most people let their energy be hijacked by whatever's happening in their external world. Someone cuts them off in traffic and their whole morning is ruined. They get unexpected news and spiral into worry, or they compare themselves to someone on social media and suddenly feel inadequate. But true energetic mastery means recognizing that reality responds to you based on your internal frequency, not your external circumstances, which means you have the power to choose your energetic state regardless of what's happening outside of you. This level of mastery requires understanding that triggers are actually opportunities to practice staying in your power rather than evidence that you're not powerful enough yet. When someone says something that used to make you doubt yourself, when unexpected challenges arise, when old patterns try to pull you back into familiar dysfunction, these are all invitations to demonstrate your commitment to your new identity rather than reasons to abandon it. You can develop this mastery through practices like breathwork that helps you stay centered under pressure, meditation that teaches you to observe thoughts without being consumed by them, and energy-clearing techniques that help you release what isn't yours to carry. The goal isn't to never feel triggered, it's to notice when you're triggered and choose to embody your power anyway. Advanced energetic mastery involves what I call frequency anchoring, creating specific internal and external cues that instantly reconnect you with your empowered state when you notice you've been knocked off center. This might be a particular breathing pattern that immediately shifts your nervous system, a power pose that reminds your body what confidence feels like, or a mantra that calls your energy back to your highest frequency. The more you practice returning to your chosen frequency, the less time you spend in reactive states, and the more stable your manifestation signal becomes. This stability is what allows some people to shift your identity permanently rather than temporarily, creating lasting transformation rather than just peak experiences that fade back into old patterns. Living beyond the mirror means refusing to let your current circumstances dictate your identity or your possibilities. It's about choosing to embody your power even when your external reality hasn't caught up to your internal transformation yet. Most people live in reaction to their current situation. If their bank account is low, they feel financially insecure. If their relationship is struggling, they question their worthiness of love. If their career is stagnant, they doubt their talents and potential. But this approach makes you a prisoner of your past creations rather than the conscious architect of your future reality. When you live beyond the mirror, you understand that what you're seeing in your external world is simply the delayed reflection of who you used to be, and you have the power to change what that mirror shows by changing who you're being right now. This doesn't mean ignoring practical realities or living in denial. It means approaching your current circumstances from your empowered identity rather than your victimized identity, taking inspired action from abundance consciousness rather than panicked action from scarcity consciousness. If money is tight, someone living beyond the mirror doesn't deny the situation, but they handle it from the energy of someone who naturally attracts financial flow rather than someone who chronically struggles with money. They make decisions that align with their empowered identity, even when those decisions feel scary or illogical to their past self. This conscious choice to operate from your future identity rather than your historical identity is what creates the energetic bridge between where you are and where you want to be. The most powerful aspect of living beyond the mirror is that you stop needing external validation to feel worthy of your desires. You give yourself permission to want what you want, to pursue what calls to you, and to shift your identity towards someone who naturally receives abundance in all forms. You begin making choices from love rather than fear, from expansion rather than contraction, from trust rather than control, and reality responds to you by reflecting this new frequency back as improved circumstances, better opportunities, and more supportive relationships. But this level of sovereignty requires one final integration, learning to stop asking for permission and start living as the answer to your own prayers. The ultimate integration happens when you stop asking the universe if you're worthy, stop asking others for permission to be magnificent, and stop asking your circumstances to change before you feel empowered, because you finally understand that you are the answer you've been seeking all along. This isn't about ego or spiritual bypassing. It's about recognizing that every quality you've been trying to attract from outside yourself, love, abundance, success, peace, already exists within your consciousness and is simply waiting for you to claim it without apology. The moment you stop asking, "Am I enough?" and start declaring, "I am enough," is the moment your entire relationship with manifestation shifts from begging to commanding, from hoping to knowing, from seeking to being. When someone reaches this level of integration, they no longer experience the exhausting cycle of trying to convince themselves they have power. They simply operate from power because they've remembered it's their natural state. They don't wonder if they deserve their desires. They focus on which desires feel most aligned with their authentic self. They don't ask permission to pursue their dreams. They ask their dreams how they can best serve them. This complete shift your identity from seeker to finder, from student to master, from victim to creator, is what creates the energetic conditions for effortless manifestation. Because when you're no longer divided against yourself, your entire being broadcasts a coherent signal that reality responds to you with matching experiences. The beautiful paradox of final integration is that the moment you stop desperately needing your external reality to change is often the moment it begins shifting rapidly to match your new internal frequency. When you embody your power so completely that you're fulfilled regardless of circumstances, you create space for circumstances to surprise and delight you in ways your limited imagination never could have conceived. This is what it means to live as your own savior, to be your own guru, to become the living answer to every prayer you've ever whispered into the darkness. And from this place of wholeness, manifestation stops being something you do and becomes something you are. The natural expression of a consciousness that has remembered its creative nature and chosen to use that power consciously. So here's my challenge for you, and I want you to feel this in every cell of your being. What would your life look like if you completely stopped questioning your power and started living from the unshakable knowing that you are the creative force behind your reality? What would change in your relationships, your finances, your opportunities, your entire existence if you finally had the courage to embody your power without apology or hesitation? What if the only thing standing between you and the life of your dreams is your willingness to stop asking for permission to be magnificent? I want to know, what's one area of your life where you've been seeking external validation instead of trusting your own authority? What's one decision you've been avoiding because you're waiting for proof that you're powerful enough to handle the outcome? Share it in the comments below, because your breakthrough might be exactly what someone else needs to see to finally give themselves permission to shift their identity and claim their power. And listen, if something awakened inside you while watching this, if you felt that recognition that you've been living as a smaller version of yourself than what's possible, then you absolutely cannot miss the video that's appearing on your screen right now. I'm about to reveal the specific daily practices I use to maintain this level of unshakable identity so consistently that my old limitations literally can't find me anymore. This is the missing piece that separates people who occasionally manifest small things from those who live in a constant state of receiving everything they desire. Don't let this moment of clarity slip back into old patterns. Your empowered self is depending on the choice you make right now to finally stop hiding and start shining. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because your journey to permanently shift your identity, embody your power, and create a reality that responds to you with abundance and joy is just beginning. And I have so much more profound wisdom to share with you about becoming the person who never needs to question their worth again.